This conference will now be recorded.
Right, let's start today's session. So in the last session of the Django REST framework, we have seen how to retrieve the data from database. And today also, I'm going to discuss same how to retrieve the data from database using JSON render. So I will tell you the difference between the last lecture and today's lecture, how we are reading the data. So I'll discuss clearly now. So your project is REST API project 6:30 a.m. and let's close this. Now you can see here we were discussed in the last lecture REST app, and we create a model, and a model after we create a serializer. But notice this, in the last lecture we discussed model serializer, but now today we'll see normal serializer, how we can able to use it. After that, we created a view called like this. Now in this we use a built-in API view class. That's what we are able to see the result in browsable API browsable API window because of this API view class. When I try to run server, now you can see, I'll show you once. Run server. Here the output is coming in browsable API window. The content type is what? Application slash JSON here. And we are reading that data from database model. This is Django REST framework browsable API window. Now today I'll show you the same logic again, how to retrieve the data from database using different style. Okay, so I'm not going to use any built-in class API view class. So directly I'm going to use the default template. In the template I want to display the details. But today what I'll do, generally you are collecting the data from database and that data is going to be sent to view. This is EMP query set object. This Python type is converting into uh, JSON type. Who is converting that into JSON type means serializer. We are passing this EMP data into serializer object to the serializer class, and that serializer data only we are giving response, that is JSON data. But today we'll see JSON render, sir. JSON render, because who is rendering this Python type to JSON type? So this is serialization. Serialization means what? Complex type to Python type conversion, Python type to JSON type. Complex type means what? Actually your model instance or employee records that are complex data type. Complex types are coming and stored into view, that is query set object. This is Python type. Python type we are passing to the serializer class. Serializer will take this Python data types, each and every record, and convert them into JSON type. JSON type we are responding like this. But now same example in different style I'm showing, that is JSON render method through I will do this. JSON render method through. And also how to test your API also we'll discuss that. Okay. So JSON renderer is there here. It is used to render serialized data into JSON only. JSON renderer is there. But in the last session we use API view. This will use internally JSON renderer. So that's what we have not used any JSON renderer. But today instead of this one, I'm using JSON renderer. So what is JSON renderer? It is used to render serialized data into JSON. Okay, that is the main. So serializers also provide deserialization. Deserialization means what? We are passing the JSON data to view, that is Python type, that is converted into complex type back only. That is deserialization. Deserialization I will discuss in tomorrow, but now today again we'll go for serialization only. That means we are communicating with the database and bring the data and display the user. So for this purpose, what I'm trying to do, just I'm creating a new application for clarity. Create new application, Python space manage.py, start app, REST app 2, second application it is, and immediately you can include this REST app 2 into settings.py file. Here inside the REST app 1, I have to go for REST app 2, REST app 2. So REST app 2 included here, and after that I'm trying to create a models in the REST app 2 also. Already I have a model, so let's try to copy this model class from REST app 1 to REST app 2. REST app 2 also I'm trying to create a model here. After creating model, then I need to go for make migrations and migrations. Okay, yeah. So let's try to do make migration. Then migrate also, migrate. So once migration is done, let's go to here database. Now I'm not going to use any admin panel, because admin panel data you can skip literally, because we can manage the database here only from the right hand side of PyCharm. So that's what, no need to go to admin panel and register, not required. Your database table name is rest tab to underscore employee. So edit data. So try to insert few records here, because we need to retrieve the data here. So let me insert few records. Like, let's try to insert quickly the records. No. So this is records which we have already in the database model, and this records I need to bring here. So to do that, we need to go for serializer. So because to convert complex type to JSON type, we need to serialize it compulsory. So serializer.py we need to create. REST tab 2, go to new and simply Python file serializer.py. Now in the serializer.py, I'm trying to import from REST framework dot serializers, import serializer, or else we can go for import serializers. Okay, now I'm not going to import any models. because in the last application in the serializers.py we created a model serializer, but now this time you can see that's what I included model also here. Model serializer I included and model name all. But for a change here, instead of model serializer, I'm trying to use normal serializer only. So what is the difference between normal serializer? You can see this EMP serializer, and this is what actually serializer start serializer only. Note this, I'm not using model serializer here, serializer only I'm using. So when we use serializer only, here how many model fields are there? That many model fields we have to include into serializer.py. That is the difference between normal serializer and model serializer. Previously we used model name just, but now we are using normal serializer. We have to know that normal serializer how it will be. Now this is EMP serializer, normal serializer is done. Okay, yes. Now coming to the views, sir. So we need to go to view section here because we need to bring the data from model and we need to represent that data to the user. So here first I'm trying to collect the REST tab to models. Model is required. Next from REST tab to serializer import. What serializer is that? EMP serializer is there. From REST framework. Okay. From REST framework dot renderers import JSON renderer. Yes, this I'm using. Difference you can observe here. JSON renderer I'm using here. I'm not using normal API view. JSON renderer I'm using. This JSON renderer is responsible to send the data, convert the data, model instance data, Python data type to JSON data type. JSON renderer method is there here. JSON renderer. Okay. So from REST framework dot renderers import JSON renderer. So this is the built-in class we can use. This is JSON render. This JSON render will collect the data from view and automatically it will convert this and this will return to the user only. So this is exactly, but I'm going to give here response here Django response. So Django.http import HTTP response is there here. Now let me create two views I'm creating here. Now I'm trying to go with previously we used class based view. No? Now I'm trying to show you function based view. How it will be function based view. You will try to understand here. So I'm trying to create a function based view only. In previous example we use class based view. Now trying to work with function based view. So function based view means def emp underscore details request object, and I'm trying to pass here primary key. So emp details primary key pk means what? My input parameter. So emp equals to employee model dot objects dot get. First I want to get id equals to pk primary key. Only one record I want to get here. Okay, so this record need to be, I need to create first object for serializer class. Serializer equals to employee serializer, and this emp I'm passing to here. This employee serializer data we are sending this emp data to employee serializer class, but in employee serializer class we need to go for render. JSON render is required, sir, here. Okay, because to convert the data into JSON render, JSON data equals to JSON render dot render method. In this render method what I'm passing serializer dot data. So that means whatever the data is coming from serializer object, that will convert into JSON format. Who will convert really means JSON render. But in the previous lecture, we have not used this JSON render, but how it converted our JSON render means API view we use, no? API view class we use. That class will take care internally the converting that data into JSON format by using JSON render. But now I'm using JSON renderer class dot render method of serializer data only. I'm going to render and stored into JSON data. This JSON data we need to give the response only. So how to give response means we have a return HTTP response. This is Django response, JSON data, what data you're sending, and the content type is there here. Content type equals to what I can say application slash JSON. This type I'm going to render. This is only one employee record getting purpose. We use this EMP details. We need to set the URL for this. So to set the URL for this, we can simply go to REST app and copy this urls.py and paste into here REST app to URLs. Okay, now coming to this, yes. So here REST app to views, and I'm previously used class based view. Now I'm using function based view. That's what no need to use as view. Now I'm trying to take emp slash. We have to set the URLs are compulsory. We have to use int colon pk. Which ID do you want? That ID we have to pass it, and we will get that ID through. This is exactly how. Now observe carefully. So first when we execute this servers, so project level URLs it will go. So we need to set this URLs into project level also. My previous application is REST app 1 slash. Now this application I'm not giving any name, just I'm including REST app 2 dot URLs. REST app 2 dot URLs. Now once I start server, first request goes to REST app 2 dot URLs. Okay, REST app2.urls. Immediately this URLs will call REST app2.urls means here the view is there. Here we have to supply emp slash id number 1. Immediately it will call emp details view. It will go to view that id here passing. That id through I'm bringing the data by using get method and stored into emp. This emp data I'm passing to the serializer class, and this serializer class data as converting JSON format. Who will convert JSON render dot render, and this JSON data we are giving in the response HTTP response directly. Now finally, when we start the server, now we can see how we are going to get the JSON data. Let's run this. Now we have to hit this emp slash. So now we can see JSON render missing one required positional argument data is there. So what is missing? JSON data is one required position argument means JSON data comma content type equals to application slash JSON return HTTP response. Serializer dot data is there. We'll see that. What is the problem? JSON data, JSON render method render serializer dot data. Correct. Return HTTP response. JSON data content type equals to application slash JSON. Correct. Or type error. JSON renderer method missing one required positional argument. See here. Give me 1 second. What is the problem? We'll see. emp details request.pk URL section is okay. Model is okay. Serializer is also okay. URLs is okay. This database is okay. Let me recheck. Okay, this is my mistake. JSON render is a method. Yeah, simple bracket is missing. That's what there is a problem. Now here you can see emp/1. We got employee only one record, name Sai, address HYD, mail Hyderabad. This is called JSON data. Only one record is there. That's what you will see, only one curly bracket. So if you want employee 3 also, then employee 3 name is Durga, address is Sarnagar, mail is durga@gmail.com. Now we are getting a Django response, sir. This is JSON data with Django response. Previously we got what? API view response. That is API view window is there clearly because we use API view class. Okay. So to get all the records, what we can do, sir? We can create one more view, sir, to create all the records. Now def emp underscore all underscore details. Now this time I am asking to get employee records all. Emp equals to employee dot objects dot all. I'm using employee dot objects dot all. Then similarly same code we are using this one. That's it. No change here, but we are using all records. But while passing here many equals to true also we have to pass because multiple records we are going to getting this by using emp all details view. Same thing we have to set this also in the URL. So let's go for path. Now I'm trying to take emp all, then views dot what actually view name. To get all records, we use this one. To get only one record, we use this view, this URL. So same here, get method through I'm using ID number, that ID number value I'm getting, but here all methods through we are getting all records only. There is no change. Now let's run this quickly, and I'm trying to get all. So slash emp all I'm using. The moment when we get the all record, look at this, the JSON data associated with square bracket with curly brackets, multiple records only. This is not a browsable API window, which we have seen in the last example, colorful window, but this is only our Django response. So this is always JSON format data only here. So who is generally convert the model instances or complex type into JSON format means renderer method is converting. This renderer method is coming from renderer library, but previous lecture we didn't use this one because already we used API view class. That API view class will take a rendering process clearly here. So right now here we have created one Django application, that is REST API application. But do you want to test this API whether it is working or not? Someone is trying to access this API link. So is this possible to test or not? Yes. So right now you can see I want to test this API. If I'm giving link to someone, so other application, if I execute, then will it work or not? Our API is going to be testing correctly or not? We want to check that. So how to check means for testing API. So there is a every application is having test.py are here. Look at this, test.py is there or not? Here. So this is double click on it. So create your test cases. Okay. Yes. To create test cases, first what I required. So I need to import some requests. Yes, from here onwards, I want to send request, sir. Request. But the moment when we go for request sometimes we may not install. So it is showing underline red squiggly. You have to install it in request object here. Okay. So now I'm going to set the URL. First, let's try to run the server here. What is the URL address? You will come to know that. Now this is my URL address, sir. Let's copy this URL address, and I'm trying to create this URL equals to, so path I'm creating. Now this path is emp/id number 1. This is my URL address. And request object I'm trying to create request.json request.get, sir. Get URL attribute equals to URL. So this is R is a request object. My URL address of the application is this is one only emp/1 URL name. So this is called API link actually. This link I am going to provide to the Python application for testing here. So user can run this Python application, and this Python application can communicate with Django application. Django application can communicate with model and bring the data. So URL equals to http://127.0.0.1:8000 emp/1. So R equals to request.get URL equals to URL. This URL directly also we can pass here, this one, not a problem. Total this URL link, we can pass it here also. So R is a request object, request is a library, get is a method, URL equals to URL. Okay. So here next, I want to collect the data emp underscore data equals to, here I want to store. What data I'm going to store means JSON data or dot JSON. This data I'm printing into terminal. That's it. This is called testing your API, whether it is working or not. So I create a Django application, that is REST app 2. I am working with Python application, that is test.py. From user is sending request from test.py file, and this will go to API. That API will communicate with Django application. API means this is the link of API only. Not my point. This is only API link. We are communicating with Python application test.py. This test.py will send request to the API. Via API, what request we are saying that emp/1. This will communicate with Django application. It will bring the result. But make sure that do you want to run this test.py? First we have to ready with server. Server need to be start, sir. I am starting the server. After starting the server, in the terminal window, there is a one more local tab you have to open by using plus symbol. After local tab, now you can see we are into REST app, REST project, REST API project 6:30 am. But we are into REST app 2. So we have to move to concern application REST app 2 compulsory. After REST app 2, then we need to run your test.py. So Python space test.py. Simple. We are bringing ID number 1 record or not? Yes. Why? Because this ID number 1 record we are supplying here only. But in case if we are trying to supply this emp all means, yes, emp all. So all records will come now. Look at this. When I try to test this API, all records are coming into JSON format. So that means testing is correct. So your test is completely done, sir, because you are doing testing. In the testing, I'm communicating with Python application. In the Python application, already API link is there. This API link through we are communicating with the Django application that will render JSON data. JSON data we are printing into terminal only. This is called testing your API, sir, here. So in today's session, what we covered, just JSON render and how to do API testing with the test.py file of your application we covered. In tomorrow's session, same lecture, that is deserialization I am going to use. Deserialization means what, you know? Sending JSON data to the Python type, that is views. That views data will send it to complex type, that is reverse order, that is deserialization. That deserialization mechanism we'll discuss in tomorrow's session step by step. That's all for now. So yesterday what we discussed previous session, same topic, but we are changing here. What changes? These changes I'm doing because you don't know who is converting internally complex type to JSON type. Means JSON render is there. This JSON render is going to be collect the data from serializer data, and that will send into convert into JSON and stored into here, and this JSON data we are giving into HTTP response. This is about today's session what we done with the testing API also. More testing also I will do in tomorrow by using test.py, insertion, deletion, updation, everything, all the things we will do testing here. If you want to write any test cases of the API, then we can use test.py only, sir. Okay. Yeah. So that's all for now. So see you tomorrow here. Deserialization we will start. Deserialization.